saw some significant line movement early on the Northeastern side. Is that continuing, or is it starting to even out a little bit?
We opened 8.5, and like you said, Dave, it was a steady stream of sharp money getting us down to 6.5. Now that we're at 6.5, the money's exactly even on both sides at that number. The tickets are even. I feel like this is going to be an evenly bet game the rest of the way. You've got your people who Kansas has the name recognition, and they're going to go that way. And then you've got your, fade Kansas type bettors that are going to take the points with Northeastern. Kansas has not looked like themselves all year. This should be an evenly bet game come tip.
And one thing, Jason, that we don't normally see, Kansas usually gets a really nice draw as far as location is concerned. They got to go on the road just as much as pretty much Northeastern does in this game, and they haven't been very good on the road.
No, they've been a different team away from Lawrence, Kansas this year. I don't like this matchup at all for Kansas. I think it's very, very, very dangerous spot playing, an older team. Obviously Kansas has the better players. If these teams played 5 years later, but today, I think you have juniors and seniors with Northeastern that run a fundamental offense. They're a better shooting team. I mean, Kansas usually isn't a good shooting team, and then what they can do against these little teams is just go inside and pound it inside and kill you like that. This team can't do that.
No,
I think they're in a lot of trouble.
That sounds like an upset possibility right there. If you're filling out a bracket someplace and want to take a stab in the first round, maybe Northeastern a little bit live. The Major League Baseball season is underway. Jeff, did you stay up to watch the Mariners and Oakland A's? And I will tell you that I did.
Dave, 10 years ago, when I worked more of a swing shift schedule, I definitely would have. At this point in my life, I got no shot. And it frustrates me that Major League Baseball wants to do opening day a week and a half before the season on the other side of the country, and a lot of people can't watch it. I get why they're doing it with the Ichiro stuff, but I'm not a fan, to be honest.
No, neither am I. I do want to watch the Ichiro stuff. He played last night, started. I don't know whether he's going to start tonight or come in for a pinch hitting role or something. This is probably the last game he will play. And by the way, he does start. He's starting to look his age. He fouled in one at bat last night. He fouled 2 balls off himself, which Ichiro never does. Okay, so, the bat speed might be slowing down a bit, but what a player and what a career. Golden Knights, man, oh man, are they hot. 9-1 since the Mark Stone trade. So I asked this to Jeff Sherman yesterday, and I want to get the same response or the same question to you. Are they now, regardless of what the odds are showing, because they're not the favorite in the Western Conference at Caesars Palace, or at Caesars Entertainment, I should say, but are they now the team to beat in the Western Conference?
I have them at or right next to the top of my power rankings in the Western Conference. The only reason why they're not the favorite is they're going to have to play at least 2 series on the road, barring Calgary or San Jose losing in the first round. I put them right there with San Jose. Obviously, for whatever reason, the Knights are in Martin Jones' head at this point. Even though they're the same power ranking, really, you would have to make the Knights favorite against San Jose. The other team in the West that I'm looking at is St. Louis. Tarasenko came back last night. That team is bought into whatever Craig Berube is selling. Don't sleep on them. I think they can beat anybody in the West.
Our team, so to speak, I mean, we're transplanted Las Vegans, obviously. We like the Golden Knights, but we are both Bruins guys. They got Pasternak back last night. They absolutely dominated the Islanders, win 5-0, and it was all that lopsided. So are they the team that can knock Tampa Bay off in the East?
Absolutely. They're the clear number 2 in the East, in my opinion. The Islanders have been I can't believe how good they've been all year. Trotz has been excellent, and not to take anything away from what he's done, but Thomas Greiss has carried that team all year. I'm not sure how long that continues. In my opinion, they're probably the worst of the 8 teams in the Eastern Conference that will make the playoffs. But that being said, Boston has been incredible, and if I was Tampa, I would not be happy about having to play them in the second round, assuming they beat Toronto.
Is Carolina a threat at all? I mean, they've been playing really good hockey for a long time now. They look pretty much safely in the playoffs, and I mean, they've they might be the best conditioned team in the league. I mean, they're flying for 3 periods.
They're incredible. We discussed this briefly last week, how I really think they're the team that comes out of the Metro. Rod Brindamore has done an excellent job managing Sebastian Aho's minutes. In games that he's close, he seems to play 19, 20 minutes. And in games that are 4-1, 5-1 type third period games, he gets less shifts in the third period, which I think is genius. That team is scary, and if they get any goaltending at all, they're the hockey metrics darling for everyone. They're better than every team in the Metro, in my opinion, and definitely don't sleep on them.
If you're looking for extra action this weekend, the Valspar Open taking place, and this is good that they've got a good golf event on the same weekend as March Madness. Pretty good field. It's not as strong as last week, the Players' Championship, but it's a good field nonetheless. How about some ideas in this one?
Yeah, Dave, it's one of the tougher courses on tour, and like last week, length is largely irrelevant. It's not a driver course. There's a lot of dog legs, which makes it interesting to me that DJ is in the field. I'm assuming he's playing because of the PGA rule this year, where if you have to play one event every year that you haven't played in the last 4, so I guess he picked this one up. But it doesn't seem like this course suits him at all. So if you're willing to fade him taking up so much of the market, there's value everywhere else. Plenty of short hitters have won here. Jordan Spieth, KJ Choi, Jim Furyk, to name a few. The key here is not making bogeys. The winning score will be relatively high, so I'm looking for a guy with good iron play that doesn't get himself into too much trouble. I find Sergio Garcia likely to be the winner. 15-1 might be a bit short, but looking at the rest of the field, he kind of stands out to me.
Give me a quick assessment of the guy I put a little mark next to this week, which is he's a good player, Patrick Reed.
Patrick Reed has fantastic form here. I believe 3 top 7s the last 4 years. He definitely can win here. Not in the greatest form in the last few months, but he's making cuts. He's made 15 straight cuts. Definitely would expect him to be around on Sunday. Another guy I'm looking at, not in the win market, but definitely in the matchup over Kevin Kisner, is Jason Kokrak. He is 4th in strokes gained approach, which is a big stat here. He's in great form. He's matched up against Kisner, who's played this course terribly twice. His stat metrics don't match. I don't like Kokrak in the win market because he's 0 for 200 lifetime, and he's only 40-1. But in the matchup, it seems quite a good bet.
Jeff, I'm usually not on Wednesdays, and I just want to give you and Matt Lindeman a shout-out. As aggressive as you guys are now, putting these odds out first on all the things you do. For those that don't follow Matt Lindeman, at Linda Train on Twitter, just an amazing job you guys have done now, being the first to put out odds on almost everything. It's an incredible job.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
And don't forget, I mean, it's just a great setup at Caesars Palace this weekend. Kiosks, so you don't have to stand in those long lines. And from my standpoint, the one thing you worry about, you got to eat, okay? You don't want to get up and lose your seat. You don't have to worry about that anymore. You can have the food ordered. Well, explain how it works. I mean, it's 2019 stuff all the way, but I love it.
Yeah, you're sitting down at your seat. There's signage everywhere. There's a number and a word you text, and it kicks you back a link. You click the link, and it has the menus of the Farah Pizza, Earl Sandwich, Smash Burger. You can get it all delivered to your seat. And I'm kind of a pizza snob, being from the East Coast. Yep. The Farah Pizza is very good.
Really? I have not tried it. Is it New York style?
Yeah, yes, it's New York style, and for me, the best pizza has a good cheese-to-sauce ratio, not too much of either. This one checks both boxes.
Brinks, this is something you might have to check out, because you've said some nasty things about our pizza out here.
I have. I'm going to try it.
All right, there you go. Good stuff, Jeff. Have a great weekend, bud. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Dave. We'll talk soon.
Don't forget to follow Jeff Davis on Twitter at @the_junkyard. And you're right, Ralph. They've done an absolutely phenomenal job at really aggressively getting into the market with great stuff for the player. It is a very player-friendly sportsbook.
I mean, Matt just tweeted out a couple hours ago the odds to win the College World Series.
There you go.
Yeah, baseball started. The Major League Baseball season started, and by the way, they have Auburn at 20-1. I think is the favorite. Looking through the odds, North Carolina 15-1. So we'll see in that range.
Let's see what the Rebels are. I can't read it.
They had those NIT.
I think it's 100 to 1 on UNLV to win the baseball.
Do they have a chance this year?
Get a pretty good team.
Do they?
Yeah, and by the way, get out to early Wilson.
200 to 1.
I can't.
Yep.
My eyes are not the best, so I knew it was 3 figures. So no, they're not going to win it. But if you want to put $5 on the local team, just hey, look.
A lot of people made money last year.
The Golden Knights. Never forget the Golden Knights. Man, oh, man. All right, let's take a break. We will come back. We will get to our Joe's Angle of the Day. We'll do our Wednesday 4 at 4. We'll do an MLB team preview. One of the better teams in the National League. Lots to come in the second half hour.
The Las Vegas Sportsline.
Dave Koco and John Lyons from Lyons Physical Therapy. So give me a rundown on maybe a typical treatment at LPT.
Sure, Dave. On an initial consult, we'll sit down with the patient for at least 10 or 15 minutes, get a history of their injury or their condition. Then we'll move into an assessment where we put our hands on the patient, take them through a few special tests to identify what the pain source is and what the actual injury is. Then we'll use some modalities like heat and electric stimulation to reduce their pain and muscle spasms. And typically our physical therapist or assistant will do some type of manual stretching, massage therapy, or range of motion on that patient. And after the initial visit, we typically see patients 2 to 3 times a week for 4 to 6 weeks.
LionsPTLV.com, 702-476-0222.
Hello, friends. This is Thomas Johnson from Joe's Seafood Prime Steak and Stone Crab. Need a great idea for lunch or dinner? Your best bet is Joe's, one of the most popular dining destinations on the Strip. Joe's provides the ideal setting for private parties with accommodations for up to 150 guests. Stop by to see us at the Forum Shops at Caesars and ask for Thomas Johnson, your maitre d'.
Number 1 on my list, that's for sure. I love Joe's. Make a reservation, 702-792-9222. Ralph Michaels puts together our Joe's Angle of the Day every day. And what did you come up with today, sir?
We're looking at the Buccaneers.
Tampa Bay?
Nope. How about East Tennessee State?
Okay.
East Tennessee State, listen to this. 18-1 over-under as a home favorite. That's
wow.
That's simple.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, and the average line has been 143. The average score has been 153. This total is higher, though. Obviously, they're playing the Phoenix of Green Bay, one of the fastest tempo teams in the country. So the number's 156, but they're not. I mean, you look at East Tennessee State; they're not up tempo. They're just so efficient, and I mean, they score quick enough. They're in the middle range, like 150 as far as tempo goes, but they're just so efficient at home, and they get their opponents up in pace. 18-1 over-under is a home favorite. Can't get any easier.
We're going to roll through a little NBA, a little NHL, a little MLB. We'll do that right now in our Wednesday MJ Christensen 4 at 4.
1, 2, 3 into the 4.
Put them fours up. Put the fours up, I said. Do it right now.
Tonight's action is just around the bend, and the guys want to get your night off to a great start.
4.
It's the Las Vegas Sportsline's 4 at 4.
Not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4. Unbelievable.
Ralph Michaels is here. Jason Brinks is in the house from New York in for the tournament. I'm Dave Koch, and thanks to Jeff Davis from Caesars, by the way, for the great contribution to the first portion of the show. Celtics and 76ers tonight. It's always an interesting matchup between these two because they don't like each other. So it's one of those rare NBA games. Jason, you actually get an effort from both teams generally when these two teams get together.
Yeah, you should get an effort there. Boston owns them now.
Yeah, and look, there's still some home court stuff on the line for the playoffs. I don't have the standings in front of me, but these teams are trying to get the third and fourth spots. Ralph, in the NBA, it means a little more than the NHL getting that home court for the first round.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I do lean with the 76ers. Embiid missed last game against Charlotte. Don't
beat up the equipment there.
Yeah, I was pissed. It was in my way, and Embiid sat out the last game, so you're going to have a rested Embiid when they played against Charlotte. Tobias Harris had 22 points, 11 rebounds in their last game. He's starting to be much more of the team. I like Philadelphia at home when they're in these situations now. I think this is the game they have to prove. You are completely right, Jason, that Boston has owned them. For this young team to move forward, they know they're going to probably have to go through Boston, so winning at home is vital in my mind.
Raptors and Thunder tonight. Oklahoma City is the home team. Toronto And, they're going to be one of the teams to beat in the Eastern Conference version of the playoffs. I don't think they're going to win the East, but this is a chance for them to go out on the road.